Greg Walsh is part of the movement for responsible strength and conditioning. With a background in MMA, Greg is no stranger to the uphill battle of arbitrary conditioning and spotty strength work. Now he's focused on making better movers through his gym and training program, Wolf Brigade. In comparing his own dedication to performance to coaching your average gym goer, Greg is acutely aware of the struggle that continues to plague the majority: commitment. In this episode, Greg walks us through a brief history on how he came to discover his own coaching ethos through personal experiences and inspiration as an early adopter of CrossFit. After coaching for many years in Long Beach, he went back to his roots in Rochester, New York, to put his evolved methodology into play. Greg is now the successful owner and operator of Wolf Brigade Gym and Training System, where he preaches the effectiveness of getting after it with awkward implements and emphasizing unilateral strength work. This is episode 184.
Power Athlete Nation, what is up? It is time for another episode of the premier podcast in strength and conditioning. You got Luke here in Southern California, Texas, dialing in from some sort of rotary modem over in Texas. Tex, can we get a sound check?
Check, 1, 2. Come, kick drum.
Come, Tex. Come on the kick drum. Tex, do we have any public service announcements before we get going with Gregor's over here?
Quick, I guess, Wade's Army check-in. So we have just passed the Wade's Day mark, and we basically crushed every record we've ever set. I mean, almost years 1, 2, and 3 combined. Currently sitting at $138.8 thousand, which is pretty freaking amazing. So, I mean, all that's going to go towards, 1, funding another phase 1 clinical trial, and 2, any families that come to us in the next year, we have a pretty penny to kind of financially support them, whether that's buying a car, paying rent, paying for gas to travel, anything. So that's huge.
Yeah, Wade's Day at Balboa was awesome, dude. We had like 40 people show up. We ended up doing the partner version. You know how Benny Oliver likes to roll his classes off the cusp. And we just didn't have enough space or enough equipment to make it happen, so we did a little partner version. So things got done pretty quickly. People were smashing the workout in like 7 minutes, but, you know, you get to alternate with partner. Nice. And then after that, we just had a few more workouts, and then the final workout was like a chip deal, which this is a public service announcement for anyone listening. I haven't been doing any sort of work training like that. So not only that, Ben made us fucking slam a donut, slam some cold brew coffee, and then get into this workout, which was 150 fucking kettlebell swings, 100 burpees, and then a 400-meter plate pinch. And, dude, I am a fucking kettlebell monster, dude. I can kettlebell swing so good on donuts and cold brew, but I cannot burpee for fucking – dude, I got 10 burpees in and about barfed. So it's classic Ben Oliver just torturing the CrossFit Balboans over here in Southern California. But what'd you hit for Wade's Day, Tex? What did you end up doing?
I dropped in a CrossFit Katie. So they ended up kind of switching up, and it was a create your own partner workout, 20-minute AMRAP. So stuck true to the numbers 11, 12, 11. And I paired with a guy, and how we decided to break it up was, say you and I are partners, Luke. You hit 11, I hit 11 on our snatches, and then thruster, and pull up. I stuck with the prescribed weights, hit the 50 pounds on the pull-ups. So I gave my boy a little break in between, but we ended up getting all 5 rounds and change in the 20 minutes. And heavy, hard, fast for sure. But if I had to do that 5 in a row on my own, I probably would have taken longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, man, it's a grueler. It for sure is a grueler. Well, hey, dude, let's jump in. Yes. We got Greg Walsh in the house, man. So, dude, just a little background on Greg and this whole situation. He just kept hitting us up in like classic Fight Club fashion. You know, we always tell people like, they're like, hey, how do we get on home? It's like, dude, you just got to be the squeaky wheel and just stand on the porch for like 3 days. And then eventually we're like, fuck it, let's do it, man.
I accept. That's what we are, man. That's what we are. We're the squeaky wheel.
So Greg, hey, I'm just going to let you brief our audience. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here? And let's get, then after that, you know, we just get into it.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, the reason I was the squeaky wheel is before I lived in California for a long time, and before I moved back, just met John a few times over at CrossFit Newport Beach, and just started following from then and just dig what you guys are up to. And that's a short list for me. So, when the idea of coming out to Southern California came up, this was on my short list of things to do. As far as what I've been up to, what I'm up to now, I've rode BMX my whole life. I've just kind of been a feature in underground culture and got into CrossFit pretty early, 2003 or so. Trained at, worked at, and ran CrossFit Long Beach until 2008 when I moved back to Rochester, New York, my hometown. And then we started Wolf Brigade. So Wolf Brigade is my full-time job now. For those of you that don't know anything about that, it's a strength and conditioning brand that just kind of approaches things a little bit differently, but differently for a reason. It's definitely not a novelty act. It's born of experience and also the need for a change in what we've seen going on in a lot of the fitness culture. So that's what we're up to now. In addition to that, I write stories, and I'm also getting really good at posting on Instagram.
Yeah, we were talking about that, man. So I feel bad. John's out. Obviously, he's not here today. He's in Austin looking at Ranch Wellborn, making sure it's the new Power Athlete headquarters and the property is all up to code and ready to rock and move in for he and the family. But
he couldn't prioritize me
over
know. His family's future.
Exactly.
What are we talking about here?
Well, I'll send him a nasty gram and let him know.
Please don't.
But I was in here packing up some orders and stuff, and Greg came in early, because if you're not early, you're late. You know what I mean? And I felt bad, but we were just kind of chatting and just about the idea of the social media. And John would love to jump in on this, just like fuck this, fuck that, fuck the social media. But the reality is, for a small business, right? It's the micro gym to get your name out there, to build brand awareness, brand equity, to build that brand loyalty. You need to put some jiggy shit out on the old Instagram and on Facebook and stuff, right?
That's true. And I mean, the way that we've approached it is I guess slow and steady. We didn't do it very well at all until last year. And then we started realizing that if we kept sleeping on it, it was just going to get further and further ahead of us. So now I kind of feel like one of my main jobs is putting non-disposable content on Instagram. The one thing that we won't do is post for the sake of posting. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that goes well for certain people. It just doesn't go well for us. It's just not how our brand operates. It's not how my brain works. No one gives a shit what I ate for breakfast.
Yeah.
No one cares the face that my dog made when it saw me eating breakfast.
I have seen a lack of puppy videos.
We're going to have to work the puppy video into the Wolf Brigade content stream.
Listen, if you look on there is some obligatory adorable dog photos on that Instagram. But you got to use them sparingly, man.
Yeah, man.
You can't cash that stuff in every day.
Luke, you hear that? You got to use them sparingly.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What he means by sparingly is like the day out of the month that you choose to do, you better fucking drop like a sledgehammer and send text 150 videos within 30 minutes.
That's exactly what I meant. Yes.
But so let's go back to the Wolf Brigade and kind of the training method. And you had said that you do shit differently, but not for the sake of novelty. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I came from action sports. So my and then into martial arts. So my introduction into strength and conditioning was utility. It was need. I had been injured a lot already, even a long time ago. So from martial arts, I started realizing that if I didn't start fixing myself pretty aggressively, it was only going to get worse all the time. Mm-hmm. So initially, it was just positioning first. I had to make sure I could get into the positions that I was supposed to be in to perform these movements. So in that way, I was really lucky. I didn't just get thrown into deep water with terrible movement. I had to fix it or I just simply couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So that's an idea that we've stayed married to, even in CrossFit Long Beach. My trainers over there, and they always tell me, I don't know if they get mad that I mentioned, but Travis Downing and Joe Pena were two of the earliest CrossFit instructors. And they were just so smart, man. Like they had begun that evolutionary process so early. I mean, we never really even thought about main site CrossFit as a protocol that had to be followed. It was more like a guideline of what had to be accomplished. So like, okay, ground to overhead, it doesn't necessarily mean that if your barbell snatch is terrible, that you have to do it anyway. It just means that what the response they're trying to elicit is developing power from ground to overhead. So that's the idea that we've kept in mind. And that's why we do such thorough stuff with kettlebells. That's why we do, a lot of really thorough stuff with maces and are so detailed about some of the movements is, we want to elicit the response that the movement dictates, not simply the movement itself.
Right.
So just to kind of jump in, that's amazing, because the farther you get away from a barbell, the harder you work and more specific to whether it's kind of a clean or definitely using those mace, the more specific and detailed your movement has to be to properly elicit a response. So barbell, you can get away with a lot of bad stuff. So it's great to hear y'all just getting away from that.
And we've also found, and not for nothing, we didn't intend to maybe reverse engineer it, but we ended up doing so is that, one of my first bad BMX injuries is I've broken my right wrist twice. The first time I did it, I got asked to go on an unmissable trip that ended up like really being a big corner turner for me. So I took the cast off and put duct tape on it and rode my bike, So when it came to like, power cleans and things like that, front rack was never a position that worked for me well. So as opposed to doing it shitty, I just figured out ways to do it heavy with kettlebells. And so now we've kind of brought that process to the fact where we're using percentages of people's barbell lifts and programming heavy kettlebell lifting. And then what we found with that, what we're still finding with that is it improves their barbell lifting, of course, but it also helps us identify and correct imbalances side to side. As you said, Texman, the barbell masks a lot. And of course, as the primary strength tool, it will never be surpassed.
Right.
But to lift the barbell better, people ignore the fact that there are infinite amounts of details that are still in process.
Right.
The process of getting stronger to lift the barbell is ignored, and kettlebells and maces are largely ignored in that process. So fuck that. We skin that cat really well and differently than anybody. And now what we have is people improving the main pieces of strength based on these, I guess semi-overlookable details.
Right.
That helped me, regain functionality. Man, when I found CrossFit, I had been sitting in this kind of like rounded up, pronated, internally rotated bullshit, hold on to tiny handlebars position for 20 years. I couldn't get my arms over my head.
Right.
So I guess fixing myself has been the biggest tool in learning how to really train others really well and help fix them. So that's kind of how Wolf Brigade looks. Is it's basically right now group oriented strength and conditioning, but extremely specific. We bring everybody through the same curriculum priorities list. It's not a big group 8-week on ramp type thing. We want to watch you move before we make you move. So it lets them get comfortable in the environment, but it lets us fix problems before we see them in a unmanageable group setting. So yeah, it's just kind of it's similar but different to what a lot of people are doing, and there's room for it in a market that has lost touch with a lot of the reasons that they're doing strength and conditioning.
Yeah, it's like, it brings me back to we toyed around with this concept of this coaches roundtable about 2 years ago, where we'd invite a select group of coaches to come in and chat us up, and we would kind of, provide advice. And what we end up finding out is right after we had launched Field Strong, people were like, just wanted to know how or why it worked, like what's going on. And, John, because they get lost in complete the movement, do the movement, where it's missing the force for the trees. The idea that the goal is to elicit a stimulus, we refer to as SAID principles, specific adaptations, imposed demands. The demands can vary, but you're targeting adaptation. That's the idea. And it's the sum of the parts. And an example of what unfolded was, we had these guys doing all their barbell lifts. John saw some videos and they decided to the tool that we ended up using to fuck with people was a sandbag. Right. So we did just a very potent dose of sandbag work. Yeah. Very little, like barbells in there still, but sandbag work. And then we retest after the sandbag cycle, like 8 to 12 weeks. Was it, Tex? You remember on the field strong cycle?
For sandbags, I believe 6.
6 weeks. And dude, we get people back under the barbell and guess what fucking happens? They're stronger, or the numbers go up. Are they stronger? I mean, yes. But all we did is just fucking get them out of the comfort zone, do the proverbial field work and the type of stuff that you're doing with the kettlebells and the maces.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting how a tiny adjustment can improve something totally, not totally unrelated, but largely unrelated without even having to think about it again.
Right.
I love the fact that you pulled it off the table and put something else on the table and you were still able to go back.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, I'm sure that felt like absolute magic.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's just critical thinking.
Yeah.
And it's self-experimentation. So
not a lot of people think that way, Greg. So and what you've described is really a coach's journey, in that you adapted a system that you enjoyed and it worked for a while, but then you had the aptitude to think, this is not working anymore. I'm not getting stronger. I'm not getting fitter. I'm not seeing this carry over to what it should. So I need to make adjustments. A lot of people just get caught in the volume trap where they think, all right, well, I'm not getting stronger.
More is more.
I need to do more.
Yep.
Versus different.
I think that again, I have to pat them on the back, but our initial coaches in CrossFit Long Beach, they really thought about why we were doing what we were doing, not necessarily just the fact that we were doing it. So, they're martial artists and military and law enforcement. So their strength and conditioning always wanted to transfer it to something else, similar to someone who's playing football, or similar to someone who's going to go out and do a very specific task that they're insulating themselves for. So I mean, we were enjoying the strength and conditioning process, but we weren't necessarily strength and conditioning for the sake of itself. So that was, again, just a blessing in the sense that the barbell lift or the max rep whatever the fuck wasn't really the point of the day. The point of the day was, can you hit that as hard as you can, and in 20 seconds later wrestle someone who's a hell of a lot better than you,
right?
Competently. So that was kind of the stuff that we experimented with and really kind of just paved the way for all of it. And then the other thing that I guess I like and hate is that my injury list didn't really end, and so I had to retool a lot of other stuff that's just helped me retool a lot of other stuff. At some point in riding BMX for a long, long time, I broke something in the bottom of my back. So I've had 2 back surgeries. As you guys know, they basically throw like a percentage prognosis at you when you're done with that. Well, there's like a 22% chance of you returning to watching television. They say all this randomized type stuff. So the first surgery didn't really work. And I was kind of left with the pain that I had before. And then the second surgery was a fusion. So there's a little metal piece in my back. And they said after that, there's a 15% return to normal physical functionality. So they basically say you're doomed.
Yeah, you're doomed.
Yeah. So on top of that, the surgeon made a mistake, touched a nerve, and turned my left big toe off. So post surgery, there was no strength in the left toe. If you pushed on it, it just moved. It just moved up and down. I guess what do they call it? Like a neuropathy or something. But so some of that strength came back, but not nearly all of it.
Uh-huh.
So for a fucking strength and conditioning kickboxing athlete, not having your left toe to post on is like a death sentence.
Yeah.
So that totally broke my brain, and for a while it was really just like the pinnacle of discouragement. Like I could not post. Every time I moved, my left knee or left hip would hurt because the force distribution was wrong, because there's no fucking post.
Yeah.
So I had to really learn how to maximize that external rotation you guys talk about and the toes forward, maximizing like anything I could maximize, because the toe was not functioning optimally.
Mm-hmm.
So now as we're training athletes and as we're training people with injuries, the details that we're able to employ, and like we call them tricks, but they're not tricks. The false stability that we're able to manufacture with things like unilateral lifts or things like the mace as like a long lever stabilizer, things like that. I mean, we've really accomplished some interesting stuff with people with crazy injuries, just based on teaching them how to stabilize their bodies. And their body's not cooperating.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's kind of a weird, really specific type of niche, but coaches can figure that stuff out. They just have to take the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And what they'll learn, hopefully, is that stuff translates into, when you get the normal athlete, eliciting more power out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So you start fixing the broken people, all of a sudden the good people just get more brutal, which is awesome. Because they're the easy, as you guys know, those are the easy ones to train.
Yeah,
You get some thoroughbred in here.
Mm-hmm.
You're adjusting tiny bit of details from 99 to 100 miles an hour, as opposed to 60 to 100 miles an hour. That's the fun stuff. So anyway, that's where my, I guess, training journey has been, fixing myself and then just kind of getting the details down, and then standardizing them to where we can put a program like this out.
Mm-hmm. So how long has Wolf Brigade been up and running?
So I moved back to Rochester in 2008, mid 2008, and we started teaching, really basic strength conditioning classes in a park in May of 2008. Got a small space in, I think, August, September. Have moved several times, and now we are where we are. So since mid 2008, it's looked similar but different to what we are now. In 0809, our main deficiency was space.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of the same details, but we didn't have as many. I guess barbell racks were the main thing that we had to substitute, quote unquote substitute. So that's another reason that we got better at teaching with kettlebells and making sure that the kettlebell weights made sense.
Yeah, out of necessity.
That's right, out of necessity. And I think there's some people that do it. So this is definitely, and we pay attention to them and appreciate the hell out of them. But in general, the kettlebell is a dismissed tool because people don't think it can be lifted heavy enough to get really stronger. Mm-hmm. And that is a total mistake. It's just the details of how you're lifting it. We see people come in that are quote unquote experienced kettlebell lifters that haven't addressed many details of how to lift these things heavy. And then once they do, man, it's heavy.
Yeah.
And that's great, because lifting something one-sided or even partially one-sided with a small anchor from the other side, all of it makes that insulated strength that's going to keep you from getting injured in a high intensity sport, or even if you're just lifting heavy barbells. Eventually we are going to move wrong.
That's the idea of stress to progress, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
And so if we're not training past end ranges, if we're not training both sides equally but separately, mm-hmm. man, eventually, we're going to hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
If CrossFit has proven anything, it's that.
We started to work. We had the opportunity to start to work all that into our training when we put out Field Strong. So, because sport exists in this imperfection, taking you places that you don't want to go. And kind of with our one-on-one clients, any athlete that we had working with us that was training for a sport or had the opportunity to kind of come in and work with us, we were doing all these warm-ups, but we didn't necessarily have the opportunity to kind of put that out on CrossFitFootball.com. So I want to learn more about your kind of standardized approach to kind of putting this on the internet, to trusting people to do this in their garage.
And part of it is, so on wolfbrigade.com, there's, at this point, six plus years of every day of training. So what you'll see is you'll see what I just mentioned, which is at first we had some equipment limitations. You'll see that evolve. But we link videos for the movements that we think are best. If we don't do the movement best, then we link who we think does the movement best. Like we're not married to the fact, I can teach a serviceable, safe power clean, but am I teaching it in any way near someone like Greg Everett? Fuck no. So we link him. Am I teaching a skin the cat or a dip in the same way as the same level as Carl Paoli? No way. Can I teach those things safely? Sure. But if there's people that are better than you at stuff, you got to default to them. Mm-hmm. And so with the kettlebell stuff, I think the way that we're standardizing it, and a lot of it is on there video wise as demonstration and text description. The deep water tutorials are still in process, and that's something we've kind of been holding off on because we think there's a lot of value to that. Mm-hmm. We've done some real thorough ones. We just did a definitive Mace 360 tutorial, which is kind of the most involved one that we've done. But just what you mentioned, the standardized stuff that'll get people to heavy transferable kettlebell lifting weights. First of all, I'd be absolutely thrilled to share. We try and share, and then the videos for that stuff will be a little bit down the road because we want them to look right. And a lot of times we just have access to rudimentary video stuff. I guess we'll call it that. But the results have been so interesting, man, because I guess I just think about a lot of who we train as normal people, but I know what the fitness world is doing and calling progressive.
Right.
And it's shocking, man. It's shocking. Some days I get in there and I'm like, man, that tiny woman just picked up a 106-pound kettlebell really, really well with speed and power and movement organization and a finished position. And she did it 9 fucking times. Uh-huh. It was not, once is luck, twice is still luck. But when something starts happening on a repeated basis with expertise and fluidity, then you're onto something.
Yeah, competency.
Yeah. So anyway, I would be thrilled if any of that helped any of your athletes. Yeah.
I think people take for granted with all the training we post out there on Train Heroic, every movement has its own movement demo, right? Yep. We have for a majority, maybe 200 or 250 movements that we've filmed out here. And I don't think people understand how many takes it took us to get that 8-second video to look fucking perfect. Yep. And the purpose of having the video is so you can, if you're training alone, let's just say, film yourself, watch the fucking video and how it's done to every little detail of foot position relative to that person's shoulder, hip placement, barbell position, grip, width, whatever, for let's say a back squat. And you're trying to look exactly like that fucking video. But I think people are like, oh, just do that. Got it. Boom. Just go fucking do what they think they do. And this is, what Tex has been tinkering with their competency models. Like they don't even know what they don't know yet. But if I wish there was like a disclaimer on every video, maybe we should have put this on their text. Like, hey, asshole, do this exactly like the video shows. Like, can you parrot this movement?
And we try. Go ahead.
We see this everywhere we go in coaching. People don't necessarily value our investment in how even the simplest of movements are accomplished. So we are putting so much emphasis on, we don't give a shit what you can do. We care about what you can't do. And then in order for you to be able to soon accomplish that, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, literally primals, right? A, B, and C to fix and correct movement patterns. And then we're gonna load you up. But a lot of coaches, a lot of athletes, they don't value that investment in how you move. It's unfortunate. Greg, I'm sure you've run into the same things.
And we lose those people. And we when I say lose, I mean that in quotes because they're just not for us. The satisfaction of lifting something heavy or doing something powerful or accomplishing something brutal is insulated with the work that goes into that thing. If you take someone who's been on the couch for a long time, that was a great football player in high school, they may come in and with a gigantic arch and eyes to the ceiling, back squat above parallel 300 pounds. Yeah. That's not important to me at all. Right. That could not be less relevant to me, or what we're trying to accomplish. Meanwhile, if in a few training sessions, we can get that same dude with his eyes neutral and his spine neutral to get below parallel and make his face red with 85 pounds, then we've accomplished something.
Right.
You know? So I guess our whole idea is detailing that out physically, but then also insulating that mentally. And I mean, that's one of the biggest offerings on the Wolf Brigade site, and then also on our Instagram is just the mindfulness of the fact that, you know.
So, but before the show, you said your philosophy, and I wrote this down: insulating intensity. So
yeah, so I think
words.
That's a term that I've thought for years and years about the idea of new athletes being expected to just come in and go hard, you know, because, you know, and we refer to CrossFit a lot because it really set a lot of standards, both good ones and bad ones, and expecting someone who's never exhibited intensity in training to just come in and do that is flawed. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you have to make sure that when you start going hard and going fast, that there's a rhyme and a reason to it. So that's something else that we do is when we expect max intensity out of people, even mid-level athletes, or even, I guess, what I would consider like intermediate trainees, it's with the simplest movements. You know, so for us, you know, you at Wolf Brigade, you'll never see like a heavy power clean, body weight, kettlebell swing, no rest, back to the power clean. Mm-hmm. We just don't do it. So if it's going to be some type of heavy power clean or squat or level change, that's going to be first, and then the hard, fast, high intensity stuff is going to be still violent and vicious, but lighter. It's going to be kettlebell swings. It's going to be something with the mace. It's going to be something on the Airdyne that's going to elicit that same power response and is going to be infinitely scalable, but that takes so much of the variable out of the equation. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's what I mean by insulating intensity is you have to build that. Of course, you guys know this, man. Like you have to build every little piece of it before you can drive the car as fast as it's ready to go. Mm-hmm. But one way around that in a group setting, or with beginner athletes to get them to still get that, you know, that feeling, mm-hmm. is to simplify what intensity looks like. If you put someone on an Airdyne and you tell them to go as hard as they can, they are not going to get injured.
Right.
They may want to die, but they are not going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. You know, once they've been taught how to do an appropriate hinge-based kettlebell swing, as long as they're breathing properly and they have an appropriate weight, that's a very safe movement for us to use as a conditioning tool.
Right.
Something else that's a totally unheralded conditioning tool in a circuit like that is holds. You know, you get someone with a mace out in front of them, it feels like you're breathing with a bear on your back. Yeah. You know, so when we talk about insulating intensity, but also making intensity safe and valuable for all levels, that's kind of how we do it differently.
Okay.
Of course, is there a time and a place to pick up really heavy shit when you're really tired? Absolutely, there is. But in my opinion, in my long-term experience, it is not high dexterity barbell lifts when you're at your most tired. Even for great athletes.
So there is a value in that, and I like to call that calculated coaching. So if mm-hmm. you have athletes that don't necessarily value the things you're making them do, the quality warm-ups or the approach where if they're not ready for a kettlebell workout, they're going to hit the Airdyne hard, right? So mm-hmm. if they're not valuing what you're doing, then you just take it away. So making athletes, and I've done this before, just no warm-up, no 15-minute sprint prep, nothing. Just go right into the sprints. And it's called calculated coaching because there is a risk of injury. So you're putting them in a position to, one, value what you have to do. I'm not going to do as many sprints as I wanted to because we didn't do the warm-up and the prep. But at the same time, you're kind of putting them in a position to understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's smart. I love that idea. That immediately made me think about, I think it's Rob Orlando, I think, that writes that occasionally he will walk into the gym cold and deadlift or back squat or something, some obscene amount of weight for 3 reps cold in the door, but then again, I mean, he's earned that ability. So I
over a lifetime of training.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I like that idea of putting the high level stuff on the people that have earned the high level stuff. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And that's totally progress minded, I mean, that's not randomized. That's what I've liked the most about looking at what you guys are up to. And even when I first started looking at what John was up to is there's nothing randomized here. There's no guessing. And that's where I think a lot of functional fitness training has devolved. It's just randomized volume-based guesswork. And that doesn't really get anyone as strong as they can be. It gets them sometimes stronger than they were. But that's not really my goal. I mean, getting someone stronger than they were is fucking easy, man.
Well, yeah, it's physiology. It's the novice window. It's the application of a new training stimulus will drive some sort of fucking adaptation.
Yeah.
And we used to talk about this at seminars. One of my favorite anecdotes is like, why the fuck do you think there's a 90-day guarantee on P90X? Because fucking anything will work for 90 days, approximately, as long as it's a new training stimulus. You're going to get better.
Yep.
But then the principle that falls behind it on us, where it would be like, well, that's bullshit, and this is what you're talking about, is the concept of driving an accelerated adaptation. So we can get you 3 steps ahead in 90 days by just fucking getting you off the couch and doing running in place, let's just say, right?
Yep.
But if you were to follow something, like you said, that is structured with a goal in mind, we'll get you 300 steps ahead in 90 days instead, right? Yep. So it's like everything works, but you want what works best for the goal at hand. And I think where our methodology overlaps here is out of the gate, early adoption. As a new athlete comes in, movement selection is reduced to the most fundamental movements, and we scale and accelerate the adaptation of just what we would call strength. Right? Which comes in, you can go down the rabbit hole as much as you want, but we just want to get you fucking stronger, eccentrically, isometrically, whether it's holds, and have competency in all planes of motion. So that's it. Like, get you good at squat, step, lunge, push, pull, and start to introduce 3 planes of motion.
That's it.
And then after that, you kind of start to spiral out, right? So as the life cycle goes on, as you build your proficiency, you can spiral out, get into jiggy shit. Then next thing you know, it's fucking 15 years later, you're Rob Orlando, you're a strong motherfucker, and you put 600 pounds on a bar cold and you pull it for a
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But if you're Johnny fucking Jackass who's been at this for just a year, even though a year's a long time, you're going to hurt yourself. Like, you are still in that early adoption phase. You're early on in the life cycle, right? There's still a lot of work to be done where it should be, primarily focused. But I don't know how did I get on this?
Well, and for me, just kind of, I guess going off what you just said, so for me, I know that there's lifts that don't need adjustment. So once they don't need adjustment, they've been done really well. We've proven them to be done heavy. The world has proven them to be done heavy. Then I start thinking about, especially with kettlebells and maces, because those are really my tools. I mean, of course, I lift barbells, but that is not my strong suit, and it's other strong suits. So I default to them.
Sure.
But with the other stuff, now I'm just thinking about little details of how to do it better, faster, heavier, more organized. How to cue it better. And then once we figure that out, then I treat it just like you just said, like it's brand new again. So I'll do enough reps of it where it makes sense to me and I can feel some sort of response that I didn't feel with something else. And then we start putting it on people.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's that, it's that small window. We'll see if it's a novelty. I'm going to know in a few weeks or a month or something, because I have some experience. But if it's not a novelty, 2 months in, the weight's going to be heavier. I'm going to feel stronger. My position's going to be better, and then we can share it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, the instant gratification of functional fitness stuff is a detriment to people. They don't have the patience to like sit down and learn something, and kind of toil through it to earn that strength. And it's interesting to think about a year as a long time. for people like us, it's interesting to think about a year is a long time. It's not a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've very thankfully got people that have been with us almost since the beginning that are still progressing. I mean, and it's not because we were holding anything back.
No,
you know. And that's to me the coolest. Is I love seeing new people progress and overcome their challenges and watch their brains get stronger, because I mean the way that we execute things is it's challenging for a lot of people's mindsets. We're very nurturing and careful and caring, but if your constitution is by nature soft and you're a soft-minded person that's going to victim face everything that goes on the board and everything, then there's other places for you.
Yeah.
But the people that have been there,
are those the people you lose? Like you lose via putting your foot in their ass and kicking them out the front door?
And we're also good at navigating that. I mean, we would never. Well, I don't want to say never, but we would never specifically throw anyone out. But as with you guys, I mean, there's that silent vetting process. Mm-hmm. That's fine, man. That's organic. It's real strength and conditioning and real high level mindset adjustments that are going to transfer outside the gym to the hard shit that goes on in this crazy world are not easy. Mm-hmm. They're not supposed to be. No. If they're easy, they're not valuable.
Yeah.
So where I am with my training and things like that is as I look at it is that exact same thing. If it's easy at this point, it is not valuable.
Right.
I'm not 20 years old. I know how to beat myself down in the appropriate ways. I do it all the time. I'm willing to die for it because I feel like it's that valuable. I want to know the details that make it all tick, and I feel like the evolutionary process is especially with like some of these quirkier tools like kettlebells and maces, and how we implement them into our programming. I say this with humility. It's the next step in generalist strength and conditioning. Because with all the CrossFit people that we get from other gyms that come over and train, they mostly want to work hard, but haven't been given the tools to work hard.
Yeah.
They haven't been taught about breathing. They haven't been taught about bracing. Most of the time they haven't been really differentiated between, hinge, squat, internal rotation, external rotation, when, why, how, right? Without that stuff, the door closes,
right? The book ends,
So that's kind of where we're going.
Yeah.
And again, just to echo my level of respect for what you guys are doing. That's the same thing I see here. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's details, man. It's details presented in a fun, digestible way for people that give a shit.
Right.
If you don't give a shit, go do something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a 90-day guarantee on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Go find that.
Yeah.
Go find that.
So I may be pontificating here a bit, but I've noticed, and this conversation has reminded me how much effort starts to work against you when we work in more athletic tasks and things like the bamboo bar, skips, sprints. So it's very interesting, and especially how much this discussion reminds me that when we start to shift or get athletes from kind of that go hard sport of fitness into our stuff where it's just like, hey, we need you to do simple stuff extremely well, and that'll start to carry over. So it's amazing that, Greg, you're kind of finding the same thing. Effort works against you when you got to freaking swing that mace around, which we got a freaking club in the back, and I definitely want you to show Luke some stuff. Then he can show me. But
I sent you guys an early Christmas present, man.
Yeah.
So you've got a mace to play with when you come back.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So Tex, I'm going to just kind of pick it up from you and go with it, like in terms of the effort and how do I want to say this? Certain training systems, like it should be hard. Everything's fucking hard. It should be hard, but it is the effort put forth by, and I saw it at Balboa, like people get lost in just making it miserable. And I think that, in the new definition of fitness that Greg Glassman has put together, we are helping a huge population stay out of the hospital and just be healthier.
That's right.
And so I'm not going to discredit that.
No.
But going back to the reward of effort in making things look hard, that goes against everything we are about with regards to athleticism. And now what we're asking people is, okay, you've been trying hard to be miserable and look miserable and make it look miserable and squeeze out an extra rep at any cost. And God, you know what? God bless you. God bless you. Let Jesus take the wheel. Get your extra rep in so you can get one more notch up on the leaderboard. Hallelujah, right? But now it's how do we get that emotional, spiritual, I even say, whatever the fuck effort, and rechannel it to make it look effortless, right? And that is the element. And that is a product of understanding your own kinetics, understanding your body, being able to visualize this movement, align kinetically, and apply the appropriate force at the appropriate time through the appropriate plane of motion to make it look effortless, right? And that is a product of posture, position, and all the shit that we work on here at Power Athlete. And it's like, you want to make easy tasks look easy and complex tasks look even easier.
That's right.
Like you were talking about earlier with that little gal who came in ripping around 106 pounds repeatedly. It's that replication of what we refer to as speed, effortless replication. That's the goal, man. Like to do it 100 times and make it not even drop a bead of sweat, but in your heart of hearts know it took 100% effort to get it done. Right?
That's right. And we think about it and often call it tempering the torture. So it's knowing that it can be as hard as it can possibly be, but it's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
If you've got that and martial arts and something like professional fighting is the perfect example of that. I've been a long time martial artist and never anywhere near a professional level, but I can tell you that when in Muay Thai, you get kicked in the leg, man, you want to go home and go to sleep, So the fact that, at the highest level, these guys, it's like superhuman composure.
Yeah.
So one thing that
composure, yeah,
we're very driven by at Wolf Brigade is the maintenance of that composure. We even do things called composure recovery drills where we'll do simple tasks like say a kettlebell swing or push-ups or something like that, immediately followed by front rolls, immediately followed by 3 breaths, immediately followed by repeat.
Yeah.
So basically, we make you do a vicious but simple task, turn you upside down, and see how you recover. And that's valuable for athletic transfer and composure transfer, but it's also valuable for everybody. Everybody at some point is going to fall down. They're going to get into a car accident. Someone is going to shove them. They're going to get grabbed up. And if you've never thought about that, as you guys know, it is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
If you have thought about it, it's often still a catastrophe. But we would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, dude. It's funny. That kind of has to do with it, but what the fuck? Well, let's go way off subject. I was trolling through, I don't know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and this fucking video shows up, and it's like failing like a boss was the video or whatever, And this, it's it's a video of, I guess, past the finish line of a downhill skateboard race. So it's like big wheel, like maybe like 3-4 inch round big wheels.
Oh my God.
And this dude comes down and he's just power sliding to just like you
slow
would.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah, slow down. And then they show another dude who's starting to power slide and just hits a stop rock. And this dude goes fucking catapulting head first, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And you're like, oh no. And what he ends up doing is just basically tucking and rolling out of it, round off back handspring.
Come on.
Dude, like just totally improvises round off backflip, lands it, and everyone just is like, oh, I'll have to try and find the video. But it's like taking someone who's clearly been there before, and for whatever reason, what is his body telling him to do? What does his mind tell him to do? He's like, fucking just roll with the momentum. You know how to do this, and that was what he felt to.
And it's improvisation for sure. But it's also just insulation. I mean, he has probably done either the front roll and or the back handspring 5,000 times.
Yeah.
To do it that once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so I have an added level of respect for that, man, because when the water gets deeper, you start learning the validity of what you know.
Yeah, and we jokingly, we'll call it praxis. We used to talk quite a bit on one of our lectures at the seminar, but if you're in a gym environment, you're talking, backpedaling, and next thing you know, you fucking trip over a barbell. And it's like, all right, what am I going to do with my body to make this look like I meant to do it?
Yeah.
And then you just catch and you're like, praxis. But it doesn't always work out that way. I'm going fucking flat-backed.
Of course, it's still fun for everyone involved.
But so I don't know, maybe an adjunct martial arts. What's the martial art discipline that you've focused on?
Well, I mean, but before I left New York, I had done a little bit of, I guess like more like traditional martial arts, like Aikido and stuff. And then when I first got to Long Beach in '99, I took Kempo karate with a really great guy named Carlos Macias. He was also grappling at the time, so we kind of moonlighted and did some jiu-jitsu. And then it was I can't remember. It was like maybe mid 2003. I just got lucky, man. I just walked into the right place in Long Beach, and it was those guys I talked about, that started CrossFit Long Beach, and they were doing Muay Thai and grappling, both CSW under Eric Paulson and then Jiu-Jitsu under Kleber, and then Kali and things like that as well. And it was for me, it was perfect because I had identified at that point that those other martial arts were great, but different than what I wanted. I got into martial arts because I've just got really strange luck, man, and I've always just gotten into weird hot water and knew that at some point I had to prepare for that. Yeah. And so Muay Thai and grappling were perfect for me, and the way that they integrated them was just, I mean, really, I can't say enough about how well they did all that. So grappling, kickboxing, and then the self-defense applications of that, they didn't default, and I currently still do not default to a specific martial arts style as a self-defense application. Self-defense is its own entity. They treat it as such, and that was another huge benefit for me, because now that's something that we offer at Wolf Brigade, are these demystified self-defense clinics, and we help law enforcement and things, learn defensive tactics, and that's the stuff I take the most seriously because the repercussions are the most serious. So that's it. And that stuff was also great in proving the value of strength and conditioning details. Right. Because if we take someone that we've been training in our strength and conditioning program and start teaching them kickboxing, it's like teaching someone who's already been learning kickboxing. Yeah. They know sequencing from the floor. They know where their hips are. They understand bracing and breathing and relaxing, appropriate tension, things like that are concepts that sometimes in martial arts people struggle with for years. Right. But because they've learned them in weightlifting and conditioning, they can apply them to martial arts. So anyway, we went off topic a little bit, but the martial arts background was semi-traditional and then combat sports, right. And that's great. I think that's a great evolution for me, because you start learning what you don't know, what will actually work, and why. Yeah. When you first start training in something like Muay Thai from a more traditional art, you realize that your hands are in the wrong place, your feet are in the wrong place, your fucking head's in the wrong place. So it's just like anything, man. It's like that fun, painful learning curve that we all know too well. So are you a UFC fan? Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. So you watched that fight this weekend? I did. Yeah. Dude, what do you think of that guy? What do you think of McGregor? What are we talking? Politically or physically? Just whatever. I mean, let's see where we go. Man, I think physically, he's a next level dude. He moves in ways that people will aspire to move like for the next 10 years. Yeah. I don't like listening to him talk any more than anyone else does. But I also respect the fact that he had the confidence in his physicality to talk the highest level of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that raises the bar, because if you fucking go down, dude, it's a heavy. If it doesn't work out the way you expect, it's a heavy burden to bear. That's right. Post fight, That's right. And as a fight fan, but also as a thinker, when he got choked by Diaz, I was happy, man. I was glad that he got choked by Diaz, but I was also really excited to see what a dude like that did with it. Yeah. You going to cower in the fucking corner, or
Yeah.
are you going to come back and kind of, I guess, fulfill your destiny?
Yeah.
So it's all curious to me. It's all curious to me. I just look at it as like I look at that level of fighting as it's essentially like watching a movie or something.
Yeah.
Even sure. Can I throw a kick on Tide pads? Sure, but what I think gets lost in the shuffle is the vast distance between that and what those guys are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's superhuman, man. It's superhuman.
Dude, I was watching it. I was watching with some buddies and some guys I knew, some guys I like just newly acquainted with. And that's
always a tough prescription, dude, by the way.
But it is fucking amazing. And I've been hit in the face. I've been in some fights. I'd prefer to, I guess, talk my way out of it. I just don't like getting punched in the face anymore. No. I don't think. I mean, if it's what has to happen, it will fucking happen. But so it's funny watching with people, and I fucking caught myself saying like, "Why don't you just fucking punch him or something like that?" And then like I said it once. I'm like, I'm an asshole. Like, what the fuck do I know, dude? I'm an armchair quarterback watching these guys go to battle. There's some fucking reason why they're not. Like, and these guys though were like the armchair. Or one of the guys was like an armchair fucking expert telling everybody what should be going on. And I'm like, this is fucking annoying, But it is epic battle to watch that shit. And
it's insane.
I'm kind of on the analog of you. I enjoy the shit talking. I think it's fucking great.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious. Yep. I think how people react to Conor McGregor's attitude pre-fight, and like it's a show, it's a campaign, it's amplified, And I think
like watching the reaction. I agree with that.
And I truly think it's calculated. But like you said, it's risky because if this doesn't go his way one day, how is he going to recover from it? What's the backlash from it?
Well, I got the solution. If it backfires, he goes to the WWE.
Oh, sure.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He's a showman.
Yep. And a masterful one. And realistically, I mean, he could disappear today and have accomplished things that no one ever did, that many people thought would never happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, unless he just decides to start eating a shitload of donuts and stop training, he's already far enough ahead where, all we can do is clap for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can say all the crazy shit you want, but I mean, that dude has backed up everything he said.
Yeah. No, I thought his humility after he got choked out by Diaz was impressive. And you know what? Like in terms of a storyline, I don't think you could ask for a better one. Like, dude, he's like, big boys need bigger hits, and I'm gonna fucking make that happen. And what did he do? That's true. He did it. So cool story, and then cool kind of rags to riches story. But I could see how people fucking despise the fucking showmanship, But I think it's great. I think it's hilarious.
And I mean, and I'm not like a giant general sports fan, but I see in team-based sports that level of egotism as less digestible to me.
Agreed.
Because it's not you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're a cog in the wheel.
Right.
But without all this other stuff in play, you're not going anywhere. You're standing on the field by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it always feels like even when I talk about the gym and training things, it's without people around there, I'm standing in a stupid empty gym by myself.
Right.
But with fighting, it's you. Of course, there's coaches and training partners and stuff. But at the end of the day, you put your mouth guard in, they close the door. It's you punching some dude in the face. That's it.
Yeah, and it's got to whatever your tactic is, it's got to internally empower your ability to perform and fight, right? So if you're doing something fake
exactly
and
right.
and it's not like internally you're like, I know this shit, there's any sort of whatever you're doing outside is eliciting some sort of doubt, you're fucked, right? So it's clear that this is like, it works for the guy. Like it fuels whatever fire is inside, right?
That's a great way of putting it too. I mean, if you've got a moment of doubt in yourself at that level, I mean, you've got to be you're doomed immediately.
Yeah.
And I guess occasionally you see it, but at that level you don't really see it. You can't get that far and doubt what you're up to.
There's definitely a different psychology for a sport like fighting and swimming versus like a team sport. And the more I'm thinking about it, there's even a new psychology for fighting, because it relies on the athletic creativity of basketball, football, those team sports. While swimming, even though it's solo, it's just very monotonous. So I'm definitely going to start to think about that more and how the approach is. It's almost, ego is going to help. I mean, that's what we're seeing right now. But then ego also hurt because, Ronda had a big ego. I don't know whether that affected her ability in the ring. I mean, you you definitely have an eye for fights more than I do. I mean, did that high ego affect her ability to execute?
Man, it's tough when people are that great at what they're doing. There's no way. It's the armchair quarterback. You know, no matter what level of anything you're at, unless you're at their level, you can't really get that. For me, I think with someone of her level, which is like the pinnacle of the world level, any type of mental mistake for one single moment can change it. We're talking about a fraction of a second that another athlete of the highest possible level kicked her in the head. That could happen to anyone at any given time, any day. You know, did she rush in maybe a tiny bit too fast? Maybe not. Maybe they saw something in the tape of Holly Holm that led them to think that was going to be a good idea. We have no idea. But we're talking about like a millisecond with one movement that changes an entire career. That doesn't happen in other sports. You know, and if it does, it's at least either a tiny bit longer or a tiny bit more related to other folks. You know, something like swimming, I guess, would be another example. But even then, that moment in fighting is different than anything else.
Sure. Yeah, it's swimming is more of a routine. I'm thinking about it, and then fight it's all reaction. You see an opportunity, you take it, or it's reacting to kind of get into defensive position and change your whole way of thinking instantaneously.
And man, I mean, and again, I can't even relate to that level. You're just talking about Ronda's fight for just another 1 second, but at that level, both the mental and physical pressure, any human being is going to be more susceptible to a tiny mistake with the stakes that high. Holy cow! I mean, we're human, you know. So ultimately, I mean, I'm not sure if that was a mistake or just someone else being a tiny bit better for 1 second. Yep. You know, and I guess it's a relevant parallel, but something that I see. I watch fighting for sure, but I watch more closely the pre-training shows and things like that. And one thing that I'm super critical of is a lot of the strength and conditioning that I see in these pre-fight shows for these highest level people is substandard. It's guesswork. You know, if you've got a thoroughbred horse, you don't need to have it bounce on one foot while throwing a tennis ball off the wall. Yeah. Because it already knows how to do that. Yeah. You know, you've got to make strength and power in the simplest possible ways, laterally and linear, and in all variable positions. And that's it. Yep. You know,
and without compromising high motor function, high skill.
That's it.
Right.
Because so then the other thing that becomes relevant there is scaling and timing and implement. So when I see, I mean, man, when I see people in UFC shows doing crappy one-arm lifts with dumbbells or kettlebells or anything like that at 35 pounds, I think about, man, in 20 minutes. I could make that person stronger and better at fighting. And I mean, maybe they know that. Maybe they're showing something different on camera than, you know, we don't know that. Yeah. But what I do know is that the details that they've employed into their martial arts training are not getting employed into their strength and conditioning, and they will be better at fighting when they do that.
Yep. Is that not valuing the strength and conditioning portion, or is it having 5 cooks in the kitchen? Because you have all these different arts that are pulling, and each coach wants their system to take priority over the other, and then S&C is left just with the scraps.
I mean, I think that's a phenomenal question. I think it's both. I think a lot of guys are so naturally talented and spend so much time on the martial arts side of things that strength and conditioning has to take a back seat. And I understand that. But there are ways to maximize small windows, as you guys know that. Yeah. And then I think the other thing, to be honest, is it's either too many cooks in the kitchen or simply the wrong number of small cooks. A lot of these guys that I watch don't know shit. And I say that with humility, but also an appropriate amount of criticism. They don't know what they're doing. You watch them squatting. The squat is not good, but it's totally fixable. Yeah, you know, the lift is not good, but it's totally fixable. So if these guys obviously guys and girls have the patience to excel in these martial arts, they have the patience to apply those same details to strength and conditioning that's going to make them better at fighting, for sure. So eventually we'll get our hands on them, and so will you guys, and that's going to be a game changer. You know, even someone who's at the absolute highest level can still improve.
And it's, you know, we refer to it as curse of the gifted, but oftentimes they don't.
What a way to phrase that.
They don't need to, you know, like they,
when we talk about college?
This is where, this is kind of where, I forget where we had a toes forward post, and, you know, we talked about the fastest people in the world being toes forward and bow-legged, and you know, people bringing up the N=1 about duck-footed people who jump higher, or LeBron James, for example, is a world-class athlete, but is duck-footed, right? Slight valgus knees. Well, then everybody could pull that off. No, it's fucking LeBron James. A. B. What if he wasn't? He would be better. Believe it or not, they can get better. And you know, that's just one of the curses that we talk about. You know, because there's also, on that same token, is like, don't break LeBron.
Yeah.
So it's the curse of the strength coach now. Like, you get such a fucking gifted athlete, you are under a microscope. Like, do not fuck this guy up, right? And it happens in, even we work with a couple MLB guys. One of the guys, you know, his camp calls us and is like, do not allow him. He cannot lift heavy. You know, that nothing over 20-pound dumbbells, nothing over 95 pounds on a barbell. He cannot lift heavy. You know, and we're like, yeah, we got it. That's how the program works. You know, yes, sir. But they want to protect them. You know, whereas everything we know is like stress to progress. As long as everything's locked in and there's a watchful eye, you need to overload. You need to progress.
Yeah, right? That's a tough prescription, man. Because of course you can see where they're coming from, because you know their cash cow is in someone else's hands. But realistically, light and less mechanical is more dangerous and less.
Yeah, keep going, man. I'll jump in, but keep going.
Go ahead. Yep.
And this is one of the biggest points that I try to make at the seminar, is that the forces on the field are irreplicable in the weight room. Mm-hmm. What we have to do in the weight room is then overload to the best of our abilities to see where they are going to fail when they step into the ring, the court, the field, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And then provide
direction. Yep. Failure drills are as important as the training mechanics. Mm-hmm. I feel, you know, I've as I mentioned, I've learned more from fixing myself from injuries and trying to recover position than I am from training healthy. Yeah. And I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but it's been valuable for me.
I laugh because I remember, you know, every once in a while people are like, dude, you went to school for computer science and math. Like, how the fuck do you know this stuff? Like, what did you take an anatomy class, kinesiology? And I'm like, honestly, I've fucked myself up. Like, how did I hurt myself here? You know, and then you go in, you deep dive, and you scrape around and get some intel, and then you have a guy like Tex who fucking pieces it together in a way I can digest, because I'm basically an idiot and don't know how to read. So Tex gives me all the A's, B's, and C's, and then I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that's how it works. It's really simple.
Well,
you know?
and I thought a really intelligent post recently was the fact that there's all of this science and all these, you know, technical stuff that realistically, if I wanted to understand, I could. But my quote unquote science has been physically and visually identifying movement patterns and flaws for long enough now, where I can figure out how to make them work on any type of different body without knowing, you know, the genealogy of the specificity of the number code that the muscle functions under. You know, and while I see value to that, there's not a day-to-day transferable value to that. Mm-hmm. That person cannot come into my gym and fix a 33-year-old guy who was sent to us by a local PT because he wants to avoid hip replacement as long as possible. Mm-hmm. They are not going to skin that cat with science.
Right. You know? Damn it. Do they understand one thing, you know?
Yeah, they do great at it. You know, we were in Salt Lake City.
Is that the game, though? I mean, that's an interesting point. Is that the game? Yes, they understand one thing, but what game are we playing? Mm-hmm. You know,
we were in Salt Lake City with Dr. Bueller, who's one of John's guys. People probably heard us talk about it, but you know, John's shoulder's banged up. Dude's fucking 10 years in the NFL, so he's in there, and John had gotten an MRI and talking about what the prognosis the doctor gave. And I'm like, so what do you think? I mean, is that the case? Is this guy off or on? And he's like, and you know, he said something very simple, and he's probably said it before, but it just hit me this last week when we were out there. He's like, I don't treat diagnoses or prognoses. I treat patients. Mm-hmm. And like, it's a just simple statement, Genius. But it's like, we're talking about the same thing. Is like, I'm training an athlete, as a whole, again, forest for the trees. Like, I'm not training a squat. I'm training performance, and empowering.
The squat is not the point. The burpee is not the point. Yes. Why are we doing the burpee? The burpee for the sake of itself is not the point.
So
the doctor said that's some high level stuff. Doctors don't say that because that's not how they make money.
Yeah.
So that's some high level shit, man.
Well, in his defense, he is a proper witch doctor. Like, this guy's fucking magic, dude. He's an amazing man, and I've seen him work, and it was all hokey, as John told me as we were going out there the first time, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And when I got to talk to him and got to see him work, like, dude, the dude is fucking dialed, and his Amit method is like, dude, it's crazy shit, dude. They're dialed in. But Tex, what were you saying, bud?
Just on the topic of science versus practice, like, science is that n equals 1. They kind of look in the small window. And then as you get into kind of strength and conditioning application, then it's n times x equals z times equals whatever. It's these multiple factors that come into play for an athlete. But now we're seeing even coaches only see a squat for a squat. And you and I were going back and forth with the guy on Cal Strength's repost of our toes forward kind of force speed demo. So it's even like bridging that gap from science to practice. And then the application, there's still people that are missing the boat.
Yeah. And how do they get there is my big question, and my answer to myself is always interest. So if you're not interested or willing to put the work in, then we got to just push you to the side and wait for those that are.
Yeah.
Because you can't sell interest.
As the former power athlete coach Callie Hinsman, current podcast producer, once said, you gotta want it. And I don't know, Tex, if that's yours or somebody else from DC, but it's something that, jokingly she just would repeat all the fucking time at Balboa. And again, another just fucking simple statement that has a lot of fucking meaning. You gotta want it. And if you don't want it, then like, what do you expect?
Yep.
Yeah. So
there's places for you, and we're as I'm sure you guys are, we're a anything is better than nothing mindset. Mm-hmm. So if you're moving, as long as you're just really not doing something totally asinine, anything is better than not moving. Mm-hmm. But then based on your interests and based on your access and everything like that, there are a ton of shades of better and worse.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what we're hunting for is normal people that want that highest common denominator and are willing to work a little harder and pay a little attention and then ultimately reap rewards that most people would not believe. Mm-hmm. And I know you guys have seen that too. And it's the coolest thing is when someone with a stacked deck against them, all of a sudden outperforms themselves, impresses us. That's awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome. You can't replicate that, man. And hard work is the only way to it. But detailed coaching is the close second.
Yep. That's the catalyst.
Right. Yeah, man, that's awesome. And yeah.
Tex, we got anything?
Yeah, just again, want to put more emphasis on that detailed coaching because, hard work, and one of our lines is, don't mistake activity for achievement. I don't care how much you're doing if it's kind of detrimental to your performance. So that detailed coaching, and then again, I'm all about coaches' responsibility and putting it on them to understand so that way whatever their athletes are doing, it's going to be the proper thing to put them in a position to empower them and accomplish their goals.
And while we've got the medium here, I want to say again with humility that we reach out to a lot of people touch back, and as you guys also see, there's a plague of not knowing what you don't know, or at least not admitting what you don't know, because as a coach, you're supposed to know everything, but that is just so gigantically flawed.
Yeah.
So, this year we're going to, of course, similar or different to what you guys are doing. We want to give resources to coaches, especially CrossFit coaches that are on the newer side that are way more likely to hurt people than they are to help people past that novice window. Mm-hmm. Teach these basic but super important things that are going to help insulate their athletes.
Yep.
But when we've done that in the past, there's like this territorialism because, people still feel that CrossFit is this golden crown that doesn't need any type of retooling or anything like that. Nothing is that. Mm-hmm. Wolf Brigade looks different now than it did a handful of years ago because we try and improve every month. We try and improve every day. Philosophically, we're the same. Goal wise, we're the same. But physically, detail wise, if you're not improving all the time, then you're just falling behind.
Right.
But I think there needs to be more coaching resources with more standardization. And that's what we're going to try and do a lot of. Nice. Because we can't at Tex, as you mentioned earlier, there are standardizations to it now that we have that we can teach with brevity and clarity, and that's going to be awesome. That's going to be super fun. Because I want to see a shitload of tiny people lifting 100-pound kettlebells, not a shitload of giant people lifting 30-pound kettlebells. Right. One is valuable, the other is not. Mm-hmm. And with maces and kettlebells particularly, that evolutionary process is still early. And when we look at it pound for pound with a barbell, the reason that those tools get devalued, well, maces get devalued because a lot of the people that you see doing them on the internet are basically doing like ballet with them or aerobics with them. Mm-hmm. And they're 4 pounds. If you're 6 pounds, 8 pounds, if you're a normal person with normal strength, a 4 to 6 to 8 pound mace is not going to make you stronger, no matter how many times you swing it. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you have that baseline strength and the detailed instruction to accompany it, you can swing a mace, move a mace, lift a mace that is heavy enough to make you stronger easily. Yeah. It's the same with, I don't know when the year would have happened with this with barbells, but at some point people just figured out you can lift heavy ass barbells. Yeah. Sometime before that, they were probably lifting them too light. Yeah. Yeah. But that process with kettlebells and maces is still evolving. People, and CrossFit, back when it started, set that 35 pounds for women, 55 pounds for men kettlebell standard, which I think is interesting how long that's held up as this standard. Mm-hmm. Because for certain things, certain applications, it works perfectly. Some of their benchmarks, that works perfectly. But as a general guideline, that needed retooling, that needed evolution. That's not heavy enough. Yeah. For people that have good deadlift squats and things like that, the ceiling is limitless for kettlebell lifting. Yeah, I think that's interesting because 315 for a deadlift used to be fucking oh god damn it. Yep. But you're talking about compensatory movement pattern with the kettlebell swing. Why hasn't the increase scale in the kettlebell scale, or maybe it has? We only swing like the 2.5 out here. Yeah. John and I. That's kind of our standard. Somebody comes. That's not for lack of ability to do. Right. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind you can swing 150-pound kettlebell for 12 reps, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's interesting in and of itself. You guys are fucking animals. You can swing and lift whatever you want. Yeah. But no, that's good stuff. Dex, you got anything else, man?
Let's plug the book.
So what's up? Thank you.
Yeah, what do you want people to check out?
So wolfbrigade.com. Thank you. That's great. Our Instagram, we've been working hard at it. I'm trying to get smarter at the internet. Our Instagram is the quickest way to look at what we do with both movement and mental. And then wolfbrigade.com has got 6 years of programming with detailed videos and about 100 and something mental posts, which is articles and quotes and all this different stuff. But then separately from that, in the continuation of me being a weird shut-in, I write stories. I've always written stories my whole life. As I mentioned, I've always had weird luck. I've had a blog online since 1999 called warofattrition.com. I started that when I was out here in LA, just as kind of a sounding board, because I didn't really have any friends when I moved out here, so just kind of did a lot of writing and put up a lot of stories about when I was a kid. Some of them are fun, some of them are absolutely not fun. But there's pictures too. So if you get bored, you can go look at that. And then the book is fiction. It's called Theft of the Age. And it's just kind of about some maladjusted teenagers. It's definitely not a young adult style book. It's more of a human condition style book. These kids in their minds grew up really early, as I feel like I did. And it's just the struggles that they go through with that. And the wild card is they do some things that most of us probably would not do to people, but it's things we've probably all thought about doing to people.
Sure.
So anyway, that's the book, and those are kind of our other projects. And that's it. That keeps me busy, man. That's for sure.
Well, we'll make sure we get those linked up in the post. So if you're listening to this, and you're like, shit, I want to get down on that. Here's what you do.
That's great.
Go to the show link and or show description. You'll see links right in there for all that stuff.
We appreciate that. And ultimately too, we are open source. I mean, we don't just say this to make it sound interesting. We are a brand that wants to evolve the process. Wolf Brigade is the vehicle, not the destination. We want people that have either ignored strength and conditioning because they didn't like how it looked. They were nervous about not being able to perform it well, anything like that. We want those people to adopt both the mindset and the physical culture that we've tried to create. Because I'm one of those people. If when I was riding BMX and listening to hardcore when I was a kid, someone would have told me, "Hey, go lift some weights." Yeah, that's right. I mean, those were the people that made no sense to me.
Yeah.
And ultimately, once it starts making sense, is when it starts becoming a piece of what you're already into. So for people that are into music, for people that are into action sports, things like that, often they ignore fitness for whatever reason. Wolf Brigade is going to be a non-gimmicky access point for those people, as well as the high-level athletes that can just value from the details that we have to offer. Because my background was different doesn't mean that what we're doing is a novelty.
Right.
We get that times. We've had some coaches reach out to us and be like, "Well, you're just you're just listening to death metal and swearing a lot." No, my friend, that is not what is going on.
Yeah, you lose those guys?
Yes. We lose those guys. Yeah. We can talk about that anytime they want to, anywhere they want to.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, with that said, I guess, coming from that background, I feel like you're poised to be a very valuable mentor to, let's say, some of those action sports guys who are young and don't get it, don't see the connection. Have you had the opportunity to inject yourself into anybody's life and really kind of flip the switch for them?
Well, a little bit. We've definitely done that with people in a lot of walks of life, less so with some of the ones that I'm the most interested in, which is action sports and fighting.
Yeah.
So part of my process has been making sure that before we really kind of turned the dogs loose on this thing, that it was really, really solid and sound and standardizable, So whereas maybe in 2009 or 2010, I could have started propagating, I wanted to wait until it was really just locked down.
Yeah, sure. No, I know what you mean.
I didn't want to put out a substandard product because I felt that there's already plenty out there. The last thing the world needs is another shitty fitness program. So I wanted it to be a brand that we could help people populate. Like for example, our first chapter of Wolf Brigade is in Istanbul, Turkey, at a place called Blackboard Strength and Conditioning. And how that looks right now is just they take pieces of our puzzle and implement them in their puzzle and then report to us on how it works.
Yeah.
And that's how it'll go. I mean, the CrossFit affiliate program from a financial standpoint, man, you can't argue with that.
Sure.
That's got some Conor McGregor level legitimacy to it. But from a progress-based standpoint, we'll never be a place that says do this the same every day always, because we're not training the same people.
Right.
It's a different city. It's a different mindset. It's a different coaching set. but there are standards that can help improvement. And we feel that implementing some of our stuff is going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
Right.
We're hoping action sports and fighting will follow. And we will. We just have to hunt those people down. As with you guys, I mean, we want to kind of build it, they will come, just like this. And that feels more organic to me.
Sure.
If I have to beg someone to do something, it's not going to be It's not going to be valuable. But yeah.
No, that's good stuff, man. Well, hey, Greg, dude, thanks for taking the time. And you guys,
awesome. I couldn't be more impressed with what you guys are doing. And again, I say this with humility. There is not much in the fitness industry that impresses me. So yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
awesome people.
Thank you, Tex. Yeah, that's great, man. Hope to meet you in person soon.
Oh yeah, at the symposium or something, right?
Man, if I hadn't poorly timed this trip, I saw that come up and I was like, F, but it'll be soon if it's not then.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sounds good. And we're around. We're going to be coming out your way for seminars and shit like that. So we'll make it work to cross some paths.
If Rochester ever worked, you guys are obviously more than welcome to run that thing at my place, man. Any day you want, anytime.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we would love it. And say hi to John, and thanks again to John for sparking my interest in this thing back when we met in 08.
Will do.
Yep.
All right, Tex. As they say, go fuck yourself.
What did I say?
Nothing. See you, buddy. Are you going to have fun in where are you going? Stockholm,
Sweden.
It happens tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Jeez.
Yeah, just me and Carl.
Carl, so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Awesome. Yeah, well, dude, have fun at that cert. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I'll be in KC with Double D, just spreading the word.
Riding around in his minivan.
That's right, dude. But all right, people, go get back, do whatever you're doing. Go back to your lives and stop listening to the premier podcast in strength and conditioning. And I don't know. Hey, you know what we haven't fucking done is shamelessly ask
talk
people
about movies.
Hey, we're shamelessly asking anyone and everyone who's listening to go to iTunes and give this a 5-star review. If you think we're a 4 or 3, don't fucking do it. Listen, don't even
get lost. That's what it is.
Because we're gonna fucking find you. All right. And we're going to go onto your account and make it a 5-star anyways. So we got people, okay? We got people who can do this.
I love that we're ending with a threat that we can actually carry out.
But, hey, we haven't done that in a while. I think like other podcasts do that. What do other podcasts do that we don't do? We should do more of that.
Make claims they can't honor?
Oh, no, we do that.
Oh, shit. I'm not sure.
I guess one last question for Greg in combining martial arts and movies. What's your favorite martial art, kung fu, MMA, anything fighting movie? Breakdance fighting movie.
Oh my God. Breakdance fighting. You're trying to stack the deck for a funny answer. Oh my God, man. I mean, the first 3 Steven Seagal movies from a pure execution of mindless violence. I got to claim that. There's very little reality to anything that he's doing. But holy shit, you just watch people get destroyed. How can you not love that?
So was the first one was Hard to Kill, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, Marked for Death. I think in that order.
Yeah.
Don't crucify me on the internet if that's not it. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. For wanton violence, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, dude. So it's like each one, like the first, like Hard to Kill, they're like, okay, let's dislocate 2 arms.
That's right.
You're like, holy shit, that really went over well with the audience. All right, so now let's do 20.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's just dislocate everybody's fucking arms and knees.
Yep. and they're going to stand there and wait for it.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I hope that was the answer.
That's it. That is a good answer. All right, now you can stop listening, people. All right, Tex. See you guys.
Hey, later.
Now it's time for you to empower your performance. You can find Coach Greg Walsh and all of his training resources on www.wolfbrigade.net and become part of the Wolf Pack by following them on Instagram @WolfBrigadeGym. And today marks the start of the 2016 Power Athlete Symposium. If you are unable to attend, you cheap bastard, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with all the action. Until next time, bye!